Imagine this. You step out of a Jeep, and the first thing you feel is wet grass soaking through your shoes. Clouds are literally at your ankles, sliding past like slow white rivers. And for a second, you can't see more than a few meters ahead. I remember standing there in Siri Paye, shivering a little, and quietly thinking, should we have turned back when that fog swallowed the road?
And I remember looking at you and laughing because your face said, "Great idea, Abdullah. Perfect family trip. Totally not risky at all."
I won't lie, I was nervous. But that morning taught us something simple. It wasn't the fog, or the height, or even the bumpy Jeep that decided if the trip was magical or miserable. It was 5 tiny decisions we made along the way.
So today, instead of a boring checklist, we're taking you through that one morning above the clouds in Shogran, Siri and Paye. Just 5 little moments, and how each one can make your own trip calm, fun, and actually family-friendly, even if you're a bit scared of heights.
Welcome to Travel Dairy, where we share real stories from the northern areas of Pakistan, so you can plan without overthinking or overspending. Let's start at the very beginning, at the Jeep stand in Shogran.
Ah, yes. Moment number 1, when 10 Jeep drivers appear out of nowhere and all shout, "Bhai, Siri Paye, come, come, come."
Exactly. You step out of your car, and within 10 seconds, you're surrounded. Some are very friendly, some are a bit pushy, and everyone is promising the best rate and the safest Jeep. It can feel overwhelming, especially with family around you and luggage in your hands.
And prices, of course, keep changing with season. But to give you a realistic idea, expect a range, not a fixed number. Think along the lines of a moderate amount for a return trip, maybe a bit more in peak summer, a bit less if you're there off-season or sharing with another family.
Yeah, don't get stuck on one exact figure. My simple rule that morning was this: ignore the loudest voice and watch the Jeep and the driver's eyes. I looked for a Jeep that seemed well-maintained, not brand new, but not falling apart, and a driver who made eye contact, spoke normally, and didn't pressure us with, last Jeep, jaldi karo."
I remember one uncle just smiled and said, very calmly, "भाई, आराम से देखें, आपको जो ठीक लगे वो कर लें. रोड थोड़ी bumpy है, लेकिन हम रोज जाते हैं." That one line told us everything. Confidence, no drama.
Exactly. So, tiny decision number 1, don't chase the cheapest voice or the loudest promise. Choose the calm driver with a reasonably clean Jeep, agree a price that sits in the normal range, and take a breath before you start the climb.
And speaking of the climb, let's talk about that first steep turn when your heart slightly moves into your throat.
Moment 2. We had just left Shogran, pine trees on both sides, and the road suddenly tilted up. The Jeep started bouncing, stones clicking under the tires, and on one side there was this serious drop. Not straight down, but enough to make you hold the side handle a little tighter.
The kids in the back were hilarious. One of them asked, "Is this like a roller coaster?" And I was thinking, well, a roller coaster with no seatbelts and way better views.
I was nervous, honestly. But here's what helped. First, I kept watching the driver, not the edge. His hands were relaxed on the steering. He kept making small jokes about the bumps, like, "Abhi Siri Paye free massage service shuru ho gayi." When your driver is calm, it slowly transfers to you.
Second thing, I kept talking to the kids, little updates like, okay, this part is a bit bouncy for 5 minutes, then it gets easier. If you feel scared, just look at the trees, not the side. It sounds simple, but it gives everyone something to focus on.
So, tiny decision number 2. Decide where you want your attention to go. Don't stare at the drop-offs and imagine worst-case scenarios. Watch the driver, talk to your family, or just look at the forest slipping by. And if you're really nervous, sit on the mountain side of the Jeep, not the edge side. It makes a surprising difference.
And remember, this Jeep track is done by locals every single day. It's not a hidden extreme expedition. It's more like an off-road ride with a bit of drama added by your imagination.
Eventually, the road levels out, the bumps calm down, and then you reach that spot. The moment the Jeep stops, the engine goes quiet, and you step out into the meadows.
Which brings us to moment 3. We opened the door, stepped onto the grass, and got shocked by the cold wind. I remember my first step. My shoes were wet in 2 seconds, and the air went straight through my jacket.
It was that classic mistake. We had good jackets, but some of us thought, it's summer, how cold can it be? Up there, even in June or July, the wind can feel like late winter if the clouds are heavy, and the grass is almost always damp in the morning.
You can survive without the perfect selfie, but you cannot enjoy anything if your socks are wet and your kids are freezing and grumpy. One extra layer and better footwear would have changed everything immediately.
So, tiny decision number 3. Over-prepare for cold and wet feet, under-prepare for Instagram. Bring a proper windbreaker or a warm hoodie for everyone, including kids. And wear shoes you don't mind getting wet and muddy. Think joggers or lightweight hiking shoes, not delicate sneakers or fancy sandals.
And keep a dry pair of socks in a small backpack. Change them if you need to. That one detail can turn a shivering child into a happy explorer in 5 minutes.
Now, picture this. We're standing in the mist, jacket zipped up, shoes a bit wet, and everyone is staring at the fog saying, Yaar, kuch dikh hi nahi raha. We came all this way for clouds?
Which is where moment 4 arrives. On your left, you see a small stall with a guy making chai in the clouds. On your right, everyone is rushing to find the best photo spot, even though you literally cannot see the mountains yet.
We decided to choose chai in the clouds instead of chasing invisible peaks. We went to a small, simple stall, just a few plastic chairs, a wooden counter, the smell of boiling tea and wet pine mixing in the air. We ordered chai and a basic snack, and yes, the prices were higher than in the city, but still in a normal tourist range for a place that high and remote.
And that tiny decision changed the mood completely. The kids warmed their hands on the cups, we wrapped fingers around hot glass, and suddenly the fog wasn't blocking the view, it was the view. Clouds rolled over the meadows, hiding and revealing patches of green. It felt like we were sitting inside a moving painting.
So, tiny decision number 4, don't rush straight to photos. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes to sit, drink chai, and just exist in the clouds. Even if you're not a tea person, have a hot drink, share some pakoras or biscuits, and let your body and mind settle before you start the photo shoot.
Because here's what usually happens. While you're sitting there, laughing, talking, slowly warming up, the clouds begin to move.
That was our moment 5. It started very small. A tiny rip in the white wall far ahead. Then the rip widened, and suddenly, far peaks appeared, like someone had drawn them with a pencil. The meadows turned brighter, patches of sunshine touched the grass, and for a few minutes, everyone just went silent.
This is where Siri Paye feels very different from a busier hill station like Nathiagali. Nathiagali is lovely, but it's more built up, more shops, more cars, more noise. Siri Paye, especially on a misty morning, feels softer, quieter, almost shy. It's not about big crowds and endless food options. It's about that slow reveal of mountains and the feeling that the clouds are performing just for you.
Exactly. So if you want street food variety, easy access, and lots of shops, a place like Nathiagali might fit better. But if you want a half-day escape where you can sit on damp grass, listen to silence, and watch the weather change like a live movie, Siri Paye is perfect.
And remember, your day might not look exactly like ours. Maybe you'll get full sunshine and clear views from the start. Or maybe it'll be more crowded than we had. That's okay. The point is not to copy our weather. It's to make those same small, smart decisions so you enjoy whatever you get.
So, fast recap before we wrap up. 3 must-do decisions for a smooth, family-friendly half-day at Shogran, Siri and Paye. Number 1. At the Jeep stand, pick the calm driver with a decent Jeep and a normal price range, instead of chasing the loudest or cheapest offer.
Number 2. On the steep, bumpy sections, control your focus. Look at the driver, the trees, or talk to your family. Sit on the mountainside if you're nervous, and remember, locals do this track daily.
Number 3. Pack for comfort, not for photos. Extra layers, sensible shoes you don't mind getting wet, and dry socks in the bag. Then, once you reach the meadows, choose chai and slow breathing in the clouds before you start chasing views and selfies.
If you make just these 3 decisions right, you'll be amazed how relaxed your morning feels, no matter if it's full fog, full sun, or something in between.
And if you're thinking, this is a lot to remember, we've made it easy. We've put together a 1-page Siri Paye morning checklist for you. Jeep tips, packing basics, and a quick reminder of these tiny decisions, plus updated notes from recent travelers about prices and crowd levels.
Just visit our website, find the Travel Dairy episode for Shogran, Siri and Paye, and download the checklist before you go. Save it on your phone, show it to your family, and you can spend your morning in the clouds instead of in confusion.
That's it for today's travel story. If this helped you picture your own trip, share this episode with the person you want to take with you to Siri Paye. Until next time, keep your bags light, your layers warm, and your mornings slow.